Former Nationals leader and Deputy Prime Minister Tim Fischer will take one final train journey before being farewelled in the New South Wales town of Albury. The 73-year-old died last Wednesday after battling an acute form of leukaemia. Let's go live now to political reporter Eliza Edwards, who's live for us in Albury. Eliza, what kind of tributes will be paid to Tim Fischer today?
Well, Annalise, the train carrying Tim Fischer's casket arrived here at Albury Station a little while ago. He was met by hundreds of people waiting on the platform, packed right along the platform and onto the overpass. And that turnout showed just how special he was to the local community. Once the casket was offloaded, there was a small military service to recognise his service in the Vietnam War. The last post was played and it was a very moving ceremony. I spoke to a close friend of the Fischer family about what this final train journey meant to him.
This is something that Tim really wished for. When he was in his last stages of his life, he was really clear about what he wanted to have for his memorial, and a train trip was one of the high on his priorities. So it's just tremendous. The Lachlan Valley Railway people who have brought this train, they've spent hours putting it together, making sure that it's working and arranging with the New South Wales Rail to get it from the Rock to here. It's really quite remarkable, the work that's been done to get this to happen.
The state funeral for Tim Fischer will begin at 1 p.m. There'll be dignitaries from politics and other parts of public life there, as well as the hundreds of locals who knew and loved Tim Fischer and his family. Among those giving tributes will be Prime Minister Scott Morrison, who will acknowledge the 30-year political career that Tim Fischer had, both in state and federal politics. During that time, he spent 3 years as Deputy Prime Minister while John Howard was leader, and he was most well known. His greatest legacy was... sorry about the train. His greatest legacy was pushing for gun reforms after the Port Arthur massacre, and that's really what he is remembered for, one of his many achievements throughout his political career. Another former Nationals leader, John Anderson, has also paid tribute to his great and remarkable character this morning.
He really did capture the hearts and minds of Australians in a way that I'd not fully appreciated, and I'm delighted that that's the case. You could trust him. You could trust him. You know, when I was his deputy, I knew that there wasn't going to be some issue over his allowances or whatever. You trust him with the little things, therefore, you broadly... I think people are looking for that.
Annalise, this is really a bipartisan celebration of Tim Fischer's life today. There'll be people from the Labor Party as well here to pay their respects, including federal leader Anthony Albanese. Annalise.
Thank you, Eliza. And we'll have the full live coverage of the state funeral for Tim Fischer this afternoon. That's from 1 p.m. here on Sky News.